Live.
We're live?
Yes.
Live on
Okay.
YouTube.
Good. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Klaus Vandermeer, your Deputy Reeve. I will be sitting in for the Reeve tonight. As we all know, Bill had a major knee surgery done in that and just felt more comfortable to be a participant rather than directing the meeting tonight. So welcome to all counselors and anyone listening to us through Radio Land or however they're listening to us. And we will get the meeting started. The first thing is a motion by Karen Jennings and second by Jeffrey Carroll that the council agrees to move items 8C, E, I, and N from information items to items for discussion. Any questions on that? All those in favor?
No, hold it.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Bill.
I have one more thing I'd like to add to the agenda.
Okay, for discussion.
No, I'm going to be bringing forward in the under notice of motions, I'm going to be bringing forward a notice of motion regarding a special meeting that I feel we should have regarding the discussions on our renovation / replacement. So I'll be bringing that motion forward under notice of motion.
Okay, I'll put down R&R. All right, thanks, Bill. All those in favor of them moving those items forward for discussion? Thank you. That one away. Okay, moved by Ian Straight, second by Bill Dobson, that the regular meeting of council agenda dated March the 2nd, 2021 be approved as circulated. Everyone has seen the agenda? All those in favor of moving the agenda? Thank you. I'll sign all those later. Okay, next is moved by Jeffrey Carroll and second by Karen Jennings that the minutes of the meeting council held on February 16th, 2021 be approved as circulated. Yes, Bill.
Yeah, sorry, Claus there. We just missed B and C.
B and C.
Yeah.
Oh, adoption of the agenda.
No, we didn't. No, I mean, sorry, yeah, A and C.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yes, we normally do this on a regular basis. We have a moment of silence, so I'll ask everyone to take a moment of silence at this moment now, please. Okay, thank you very much. Sorry about that. And also, I forgot to ask if there's any disclosure of interest that someone may want to mention now, or if you think of it later on anytime during the meeting, you may bring forward a disclosure of interest on an item that may come up. Okay, seeing none right now. So, moved by Jeffrey Carroll and second by Karen Jennings that the minutes of the meeting of council February 16th, 2021 be approved as circulated. All those in favor? Thank you. And any business arising from those minutes? Seeing none, we will move forward. Thank you. And the next thing we have is our delegations, moved by Bill Dobson. And our delegation, first delegation is from the library board update. So which we have both members from the library board. Do we have Joanna, sorry. So who
we have Karen and Sarah Lynn.
Okay. Which one of you ladies would like to go first?
Yeah, Christy just has to bring them off.
Yeah, bring them on board, please. Oh, there's Karen. Okay. Karen, you flipped up first. You get to go first, Karen. So go ahead and make your presentation of the library on behalf of Smith Falls.
Yes, and will you be showing our PowerPoint presentation that we sent, or?
Yeah, I'm just,
Getting it.
okay. It's disabled, Christy, if you could make it. Oh, sorry, wait a second. I will try to get that.
I can start talking if you would like.
Sorry, I got a lot of things up here. Just a minute while I get it.
So this will be Karen's last meeting with us. Karen is retiring the end of the month, which it's proving very hard to replace her at this moment. We're going through some interview process to replace her. So this will be the last time you see Karen with us officially as the as our CEO for the Smith Falls Library.
I came here to Smith Falls in 1984 from Hamilton. So
Oh,
a big change.
well, we're very glad to have you, Karen.
Yes, yes. So yeah, so it's an exciting time, and we've really. I initially thought that when I retired, COVID would be over, and then my replacement would be able to start afresh with new plans. But unfortunately, it's not going to be over. So the last year has been very. As everybody has gone through in their own workplaces or in their own businesses, the COVID has really changed the way we're able to deliver services. And we've been open, we've been closed, we've been open again. And so everything is different, and we've had to be able to be flexible to try to deliver our services as best as we could.
Okay, looks like your PowerPoint's on, Karen.
Here it is. Okay, great. So if we, I guess I have a slide where the time frame is you could see the time frame for all the things that we've had to go through with a complete closure with no service until we reopen for curbside pickup in May. And then being allowed to allow people in the library, because as you know, we provide a lot of access to computers and printing to people that don't have that equipment at home, as well as we never turned off our wireless, so our Wi-Fi was always available on the exterior of the building. So last summer, summer is usually a very active time for us with children's programming. So we had to move all of our children's and teen programs virtually. And so that was rather difficult. We have tried to keep the connection with the kids available through virtual programs. But it's really, I have to say, it's really not the same as having the direct interaction. So we then had to again lock down in December, and we're now open fully. We have limited number of people in the building at one time, and we have safety protocols, and everybody is very, I have to say, very good to conform to what our requirements are. So I think, so if you want to go to the next slide. So, but how do we deliver library service? Our ebooks and e-audiobooks are available 24/7. Then during the lockdown, the use of our digital resources has gone up significantly. Excuse me. And excuse me, from wearing a mask all day. So that kind of took a place in some of the physical books that that we weren't unable to lend for quite a while. And then you want to move to the next slide. So we also, right now we're, and it's actually just been extended until June, the end of June, that people are able to log in and access Ancestry, which is people use for genealogical research from their home. Because previous to the pandemic, we were only able to access it in the library itself, but now people with their library card, they can call the library and get a password, and then they can log in from their home. And also we do also provide a lot of magazines that people can download to their device. So the next slide, we're talking about curbside pickup. And curbside pickup is the first service that really came back in line. We're still quarantining all materials that return to the library for 72 hours and then wiping them down with disinfecting wipes. But curbside pickup is quite time consuming for staff, and but the way in which we're able to get our materials out to people in a safe manner, and we actually still are offering it for those people who still feel unsafe coming into the building. So they can call us up and we'll get their materials ready and pop it out to their car at the back of the building. So it's something that those people, especially that are immune compromised, are still taking advantage of. So it's a way in which we can continue to provide service to those people that don't feel safe. If you want to move to the next slide.
I'll just, Karen, if I can add to that. So what people don't know, and some of you may not know, is that for the online and curbside pickup, is that through our website, on the Smiths website, you can go in and you have an account, and that's how you can order books. So you don't have to call and ask, one of the lovely ladies at the library to find things for you. If you have something specific in mind, you can go onto the website and put your request in that way, which does free up their time with on the phone to getting the materials.
Yeah, so I have to say that throughout this pandemic, there have been some people that have gotten very dependent upon Debbie picking up their books for them. So it's a way in which people can access our resources and keep making use of them as well. So
a lot of the on this slide, you'll see that a lot of the programs went virtual. So basically the library has continued to offer virtual programs like the book clubs, teen nights, Lego. We had a really cool event where we had the families be able to get together and do challenges, and then make and take kits. These make and take kits have been very, very popular. And on our website, we will often say which age group it's kind of targeting at that time. And this is the one where speaking with Ashley, who is it children's programmer?
She's a programmer.
Yeah. She says that this has been one of the most successful things, because a lot of the times parents are going, what do we do with our kids at home? We can't really go out to do things. And the make and take kits have been very popular for that.
I'm going to move to the next slide. So right now, Deborah, our children's librarian, she's been working on making take-home literacy kits for parents, so that they will contain flashcards, activities, and it basically to build children's skills. And she's hoping to get these ready in April so that they can actually come in and pick them up, or they can do a curbside pickup for these as well. And so it's something I think that we've had some parents expressing to us their concern because their child hasn't responded as well to remote learning before, because they missed some time, and so they're looking at ways to help their children as well. And I know Sarah Lynn, as a teacher, will say that it's important for the parents to be helping their children progress at home as well. And then, so what we're planning for the summer, and of course, everything depends upon what's happening with COVID, but we're very feeling positive that we'll be able to provide the one-on-one tutoring for children from JK to grade 6. And we're going ahead. We've applied for grants, and we'll be looking to go out and look for some candidates for it. And I think the one thing that we had discussed, and I know Sarah Lynn has talked about, is a possibility of holding some of these tutoring sessions at Rosedale Hall in order to make the program more accessible to Montague residents. And so we're hoping that we might be able to work together with this possible program.
Mhm. And Karen, also with that last slide, Deborah and I did speak as well about possibly having those kits that, you know, I could pick up, drop off at the township, and parents could pick up from the township as well, instead of having to drive,
Mhm.
put it all the way into town as well. Sorry, I forgot to mention that last slide.
Yeah. And of course,
Yeah.
this slide will continue to be here until we find funding for it. But we weren't successful in our last grant application, but the board is still wanting to move forward, and we'll be looking for more opportunities for grants for capital renovations. So this is something that I think the board is really keen on moving forward, and hopefully it will be happening in the next few years. And then another thing that we've just actually started, and we're going to be working with the Heritage House Museum, is we've started a Smith Falls Digital Archive. And this is something that people can go to our website and look at, and see, the link is there, and or else just go through Our Ontario. And what it is, we're trying to bring, it can be digital photographs, documents, government documents, bring them and make them available to a wide audience as possible. And one of our new employees has worked for a digital archives for another township in Ontario. And so she's working at going out to lots of organizations like the National Gallery, National Archives, the archives in Toronto, and getting documents pertinent to our area, and this includes Montague as well, and bringing them together and cataloging them so we can find them more easily. And it also will allow, say if there's a picture there, that the public can go in and comment if they have some information about the photo or that sort of thing. And we will be also able to accept, people be able to upload their own photographs of local historical sites and buildings and people as well. So it's something that we're really we're very excited about doing. And this is actually the slide here is just something that I found from the Leeds and Grenville and Lanark and Renfrew directory for 1866 and 1867. And these are the listings of some of the businessmen in Montague Township at that time. So I'm very interested in local history, and I know that there's a lot of people in Montague that might want to upload some of their own photographs, but it's something that we're hoping to develop more. And I think I don't know whether that with the pandemic that people have been spending more times on their computer and getting more interesting photographs to be able to upload, but it's a way in which we can actually celebrate some of our history as well.
I would like to add to that, Karen. So that the person who has taken on this digital role, I guess, for the library, she is the one who, if you noticed on the Montague Talks page website, I take that, and that's what I have been sending out to everybody to kind of keep in communication. So she's done an amazing job since starting with more of that media coverage and really focusing on how to reach as many people as possible. So that's where the same person who's doing this is doing that as well. So everything that I put on the page, she has compiled that content of the did you know, and the Lego or the family events. It's the same person, and I found she's been very, very beneficial. And we've been a lot more people said, oh, I saw that you posted that on the Montague page, which I know is great foot traffic as well as virtual traffic. Yeah.
I'm hoping you might have some questions for us.
Okay, that's the end of your presentation, Karen.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Can we flip back? There we go. All right, good. Okay, Councillor Straight, comments, questions?
Yeah, for sure, 100%. Listen, ladies, thank you very much. As always, you guys do a great job with everything at the Smith Falls Library, and you know, I'm pretty sure that the you know, I definitely I'm grateful for that. It's not an easy undertaking to come through all this stuff and work through the COVID and administer programs and hire students and trying to get funding, all that kind of stuff. We all know what you're kind of going through. We'd like to. I'd like to definitely thank you for doing that. Karen, congratulations on retirement. And, you know, when you leave, there's going to be a big set of shoes there to fill, and I hope that the library is successful in doing so. I just want to expand a couple of things. You know, you brought up doing some stuff at Rosedale Hall. I'm definitely 100% in favor of doing that. I'm wondering if there's something else we can do, maybe a couple longer programs there, maybe over in July and in August. I was watching the TV the other night, and I saw on the news that you know, some places are opening up some mathematical tutoring opportunities and stuff like that. There's a lot of kids that are struggling, especially in math, with this distance learning and everything that's gone on. There's lots of kids that are behind in it. I was just wondering, is there an opportunity to expand that if the funds are available, you know, to you know, a 3-week period in July and a 3-week period maybe in August?
Well, I think that I think we'd be very excited to discuss possibilities. I think the board would be. I'm saying yes, but I'll be gone in a month. But I know that Sarah Lynn, you're nodding that the board would be really excited to talk about possibility of growing the program in Montague.
And just a quick note as well, the funding that you're trying to do, where are you at with that? Like, what level? What's the shortage look like? How much are you looking for? I know you mentioned it a couple times in the past years, but I just to refresh my memory.
Well, we always apply for students from Young Canada Works and Canada Summer Jobs. So we have applied for 2 tutors and 1 tutor/programmer, because we feel that we probably will not be doing large scale programs this summer. Whatever we're going to be doing is going to be on a very small scale. So we were hoping that split person would be providing a little more tutoring as well. So, but for us, it's the cost of the salary, which for the students, and some supplies. So depending on how many weeks and how many hours we would want to run it, and there are other issues as well, I guess, insurance and safety and all of that sort of health and safety that we have to consider as well. But I think it's something that I think the board would be very interested in discussing.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Great job again, ladies.
Any other further comments or questions? Yes, Councillor Carroll.
Thank you. Thanks, Klaus. Once again, yeah, I mean, great. Everything that the library does is fantastic, and it's great that it gets out there, that people realize it's not just books, which is great. And Karen, yeah, obviously congratulations, and you will be sorely missed for sure. I mean, you know, to kind of go on with what Councillor Straight said. I mean, I look forward to having the opportunities maybe that we can get some of those services out at Rosedale Hall. Like, I mean, it's there, ready, willing, and able. And if it's a benefit to our residents, I mean, obviously we want to use it. And I guess the other one is we talked about a little bit too as well, just about, you know, the book nook that we have too as well. That's at the township office, and maybe like talking about maybe moving that over to Rosedale Hall and everything else too as well, and seeing how we can get maybe a little bit more exposure out of that too as well. Because you know, it'd be nice to see a little bit more from that too as well. And maybe just your thoughts if that'd be going along with that, I guess.
Okay, Karen,
Yeah,
response?
I think that that would. Oh, Sarah Lynn, you're ready to talk.
Yeah.
Sure,
Sorry, I have
go
it in
ahead.
mute because my guys are running upstairs like crazy. So we did discuss that with the marketing committee. As you know, I am the chair of the marketing committee, and we definitely thought that was the best idea to get it moved out there. And then we would try to find somebody like a local Montague resident who could come into the library, you know, choose some books to bring out and kind of kind of just, be in charge of the book nook per se. And so we have brought that into discussion, and we think it's a great idea to put it out where it's more central at the park. More kids can use it, right? Because they're accessing that. For me, I can walk right down with the kids to go to the park and read a book sitting under the tree. So we all thought that was a good idea.
Okay.
And that's
Reeve Dobson, another question?
You go ahead, Jeff.
I was gonna say, I mean, I think that's great that we can do that, and it might be more beneficial there for sure too as well. And I think just on that side note too, as well as I know Sarah Lynn's going to be in it, having a chat for our rec committee meeting next week too as well about that too as well, and seeing how there might be a little bit of maybe say partnership or some grouping that we can do together. Hopefully that maybe we can pound some ideas, kind of what Councillor Straight was talking about, maybe where we can get some people to help out with that. So this is great. So I think maybe we'll have some bigger things, Karen, hopefully for the summertime.
Okay, Bill, go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'd just like to ditto all the remarks by Ian and Jeff. I really think that Montague residents have been so blessed to have two very good heads to our libraries, Mary Kate in Merrickville, and you, Karen. You've certainly transformed what a library is all about, and I guess I'm just saying that I'm thinking that I know you came from Hamilton. I hope you're not returning to Hamilton, because I know that the Smith Falls area has not just benefited from your work and passion through the library, but also through the film night in Smith Falls and so on. Like you've really gone above and beyond with all the great work. And I think we're also so blessed to have representatives like you, Sarah Lynn. It's just so amazing. But I really love the idea about looking at Rosedale Hall and maybe how we can help to facilitate some things. But I'm just wondering, it would be kind of interesting if, because we've got representatives and we support both libraries, there may be a time in the future to have some discussions with how we can work together with both libraries in Montague and collaborate. Because sometimes when it comes to funding, if you've got more than one entity applying for the same thing, it works to the betterment. So I just think this is so great, all of the great news that's coming from both of you, and so thank you. And yes, Karen, we're going to miss you.
Well, it's funny. I've always kind of felt like I was an honorary Montague resident, because I have so many friends that live in Montague, and we talk about Montague a lot. So it's kind of I have a special place in my heart for Montague.
And regarding your digital archive,
Yes.
it was interesting because that was about Roseville,
Yes.
and the little building that's outside of Rosedale Hall there, the little board and batten building, was a reproduction of the original post office in Roseville. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Claude.
Thanks everyone for your comments, and Karen and Sarah Lynn, thank you for the presentation. Wish you all the best of luck, Karen. I presume you're retired, you're gonna spend all your time reading books, eh? All righty.
Maybe.
Maybe. So a motion here by Bill Dobson and second by Ian Straight, that the delegation as presented by the library board be received as information. All those in favor? Okay, thank you. Okay.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Bye, ladies.
Oh,
Thank
okay. Ladies can sign off now. Thanks very much. Okay. So next we have a motion by Bill Dobson and second by Ian Straight, that the council received the following reports. Treasurer Hodge, the 2021 operating and capital budget. Andrew, do we have you somewhere? There's Andrew. Okay, Andrew, go ahead.
Hi. So this first report is the 2021 operating and capital budget. So the recommendation of this report is that council approve and adopt the attached 2021 municipal operating and capital budget as presented. So as I've noted in the background of the report, we've previously had budget meetings. We've looked at all the different items and goals of the township for 2021, discussed those, made changes, done a first and second draft. And at the last meeting, there was direction given by council to increase the municipal portion of the 2021 budget property tax rate by 1.5%. So this evening, the previous tax rate was 0.00720,745, and the new tax rate will be 0.007315562. So we've prepared that for this evening. We've prepared a tax and budget adoption bylaw that will be coming after this. And I also provided an example to what this increase would look like if a resident had a house that was assessed at $250,000. The increase for the year of their municipal portion of their taxes from the year before would be $27.03. So we're bringing the budget this evening so that we have adequate funds for the services and infrastructure of the township that we've identified at the previous meetings. Just a little note, the township has had the same tax rate with a 0% increase for the past several years since 2016. So this will be the first increase the township has done to their tax rate since 2016. And I looked at the inflationary rate in Ontario for January 2021 today, and it's at 1%. So although we're increasing the tax rate by 1.5%, inflation is 1% at the moment. So this is where we look at, we're keeping up and with inflation to try to avoid pressures of a large jump in the tax rate, as we move into the future. So that's the first report.
Okay, thanks very much, Andrew. So I'll open up for questions. Karen.
So just to confirm, Andrew, the 1.5% tax increase that council has said will be strictly to put to the building reserves for the admin, the fire and public works. That's noted in the admin transfer to reserves in your budget?
Right. It's part of that.
Okay, thank you, Karen. Any other comments or questions? Outside of the fact, yes, Councillor Dobson.
Yeah, I just wanted to just also kind of to clarify. I know that when we discussed the budget in the past, we talked about a couple times, but it was kind of more or less red flag that we would discuss it later regarding the possible request funding for the hospital. Is that just going to come up at a separate discussion at a future meeting, Andrew? I guess you were saying that it is available in different parts, whether it be reserves or whatever. But I'm just wondering, is that going to and could that come up at a future meeting, say maybe sooner than later, so that we know what's going on?
Yeah, I believe where we left off with the donations report at the previous council committee of the whole meeting was that we would be bringing that report forward in the not too distant future to look at all the donations requested as well as the hospital and what would be the discussion there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Yes, Councillor Carroll.
I mean, I'm still not a big favor of the 1.5% increase. I mean, I appreciate Andrew's response to it, and there is no the one side that will take the pressure off is because there's no impact assessment growth this year because it's staying flat. So I mean, I guess there's a reassurance a little bit maybe to the residents and that side of it that usually you're seeing a few percent with impact, and then if we decide to do a tax increase. So I mean, this is just the 1.5. So I mean, it still is not positive because of just what I always say our tax rate is. But I mean, I just want to say my objection still against the 1.5% increase but I will be voting for the budget because I think it's a great budget. I think we're going in the right direction, and I don't want to hold it up because of that. I just do like to state that too as well. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Councillor Straight.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Councillor Carroll on this. I'm not 100% in favor of the 1.5%, but you know, there is a little saving grace there in the assessment increase. It's not going to happen this year. But again, like Councillor Carroll, I'm going to support the budget. The staff put a lot of work on it. We got a lot of good stuff that's in there, and we need to proceed together forward as a group. So.
Okay, thanks very much for the comments. Andrew, I want to personally thank you for the work you've done. I wholeheartedly support the budget. I think it's a good move. It puts us in a position to put some money away for future expansion that we know we're going to have to do at some point in time. And that we can hope we can get some grants from the government and so forth, but we'll wait and see. But this is a step in the right direction. So I have a motion here that is moved by Reid Bill Dobson and second by Councillor Ian Straight. That the council received the following report: Treasurer Hodge 2021 operating capital budget, and the council approve and adopt the 21 municipal operating capital budget as presented. All those in favor? Very good, unanimous. Thank you very much. And Andrew, you're on again for the water and sewer budget.
Yes, thank you. So we've broken out the water and sewer into its own separate report. It's also budget related. And the recommendation for this is the council approve and adopt the presented 2021 water and sewer budget in the amount of $260,200. And that is the same amount as the time before. It reflects the 1.1% increase that the town of Smiths Falls has placed on their water and sewer. So we reflect that in our rate increases as well. And this budget is user-based, so it's a balanced budget as well to zero. And one little note on here is at the previous budget meeting, we had discussed moving the line item for water testing mileage from 3,300 to not be necessary because of changes to our capital assets for vehicles. That is still in there. So a couple ways just to consider that. One would be that would essentially create an operating surplus for that budget that could go to year-end operating surplus. If council did wish to make a note of that, they could redirect it to the capital reserve right away. But I believe with it being in the operating surplus, that would be a good thing because it helps the budget in the following year when there is an operating surplus. And the detailed budget's there in Schedule A as an attachment.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Jennings, question.
No question, just a comment. I agree with Andrew in that leave it in there for now. There will be some costing and just use it at year end for putting into the reserve at year end. That's fine. It's minor.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Okay. So moved by Karen Jennings, seconded by Councillor Jeff Carroll. The council received the following report from Treasurer A. Hodge, the 2021 water and sewer budget, that the council approve and adopt the presented 2021 water and sewer budget in the amount of $260,200. All those in favor? Thank you. That's carried. Okay, Andrew, you're still on deck.
Yeah, so the next report is for the water and sewer rates it's a direct follow-up to the previous report on the budget. So the recommendation is to review bylaw 3766-2020, which is last year's water and sewer rates bylaw. And that the new bylaw would be effective as of January 1st, 2021, which is when the new rates of Smiths Falls also become effective. So that would allow us to be starting our new rates at the proper time for our first water billing of the year, which will be occurring this week. And the town of Smiths Falls, they did their increase based on their bylaw 10211-2021. And I've given an example here of the annual increase that residents would expect from this change of 1.1%. Rideau resident, it would be $22.41, and an Adirondack resident, it would be $17.09. I've shown the comparison on Schedule A that's attached. And when you look at the water rates bylaw, there's two schedules, Schedule A, which reflects rates with the change of 1.1%, and Schedule B, where the flat rates would remain the same as they've been prior years.
Okay, thanks, Andrew. Any questions? All right, seeing none. So moved by Councillor Ian Straight, seconded by Deputy Reeve, Bill Dobson, that the council received the following report. Treasurer A. Hodge, 2021 water and rates, that the council repealed bylaw 3766-2020, and the council pass and present the presented bylaw as a new water and sewer rates bylaw effective January 1st, 2021. All those in favor? Good, that's carried. Thank you very much. And okay, next is moved by Councillor Jeff Carroll and second by Councillor Karen Jennings, that the council approve the minutes of the meeting of Committee of the Whole, February 16th, and approve the recommendations contained within. Any questions in regards to the minutes and the recommendations of the Committee of the Whole from the 16th? Seeing none, all those in favor? Good, thank you. And now, moved by Bill Dobson, second by Ian Straight. The bylaw 3818-2021 being a bylaw to adopt the 2021 capital and operating budget, being read a first and second time and third time and passed, signed, sealed this second day of March 2021. Any questions? All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much. Moved by Councillor Karen Jennings and seconded by Councillor Jeff Carroll. That bylaw 3819-2021 being a bylaw to adopt the 2021 water and sewer budget, being read first and second time, third passed and signed, sealed this second day of March 2021. All those in favor? Thank you. Again, moved by Ian Straight and seconded by Reeve Dobson, that the bylaw 3820-2021 being a bylaw to adopt the 2020 water and sewer rate, being read the first and second time, the first, second, and third time, passed, signed, sealed this 22nd day of March 2021. All those in favor? Thank you. That's it. Okay, so that's the budget, the water and sewer budget. Are we on schedule, Joanna?
Yeah, you're doing okay. We're on to Bill's notice of motion.
I just flipped over the page. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, you had a question, Bill?
Yeah, just before that, I'm just wondering, just to make sure that we did pass the minutes of the Committee of the Whole, but I just didn't know if there was, I don't have any business arising from, but I just wasn't sure if there was any business arising from those minutes.
Don't think I can back it up there. People, was there any business from those minutes of the Committee of the Whole? None? I don't think anybody said it.
No problem.
Okay. All right, thanks. So we'll move on. Then move by Reeve Dobson in second. I need a seconder for this here. Karen, thank you. That's the high frequency rail motion. So you brought this forward. Bill,
Yes.
you have any comments on it?
Yes, thanks. The reason I brought this forward was simply when I read this report, it clearly says that the high-speed via rail project, the people in charge want to reach out to the communities along the line. Yes, Joanna?
Sorry, I think this was your notice of motion about the building stuff that you wanted
Yes.
to talk about.
Yeah, you gotta do it first.
The notice of motion for the high speed is after that. We've skipped a section clause. This is a notice of motion
Okay.
he brought up at the beginning of the agenda.
Oh, for the R&R, yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
That,
if we
that's,
could-
that's the one I thought I was doing now, but you mentioned via rail, so.
Sorry,
So, okay, no problem. I'm bringing forward a notice of motion for council to consider. And I'm going to read it and then I guess we need a seconder possibly, but this is something that I've just kind of thought about and brought forward basically today. So I'm sorry I didn't bring it earlier, but it reads that council directs staff to draft a report regarding options for municipal building renovations or replacement. The report shall include discussions on the administration building, the fire hall, and the public works building. And that this report shall be presented at a special meeting of the Committee of the Whole as soon as feasibly possible. I know that, I know that, Joanna, you've been already working very hard putting together a report. And so basically that's the report that I'm talking about. And I'd like to put this notice of motion on the floor. And if I could ask for a seconder for this, and then we'll vote on it, I guess, or discuss it.
I think Karen seconded it earlier.
or,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
okay, yes, Karen was the seconder on that, so we'll open it up for discussion. Yes, Karen,
100% agree. I think we need to get moving on it.
Councillor Straight,
I agree as well. I support the motion fully.
thank you. And Councillor Carroll,
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we got to have these discussions more, but also, I guess, where we're at in the process, but we can discuss that at the meeting, because I know there's certain things that are coming down that we're working on. So do we want to schedule a date for that then? Is that what or do we want to have staff just kind of try to schedule a date?
Joanna,
I have it probably half written. I was planning on hopefully asking you guys whether a special meeting would be appropriate on the 23rd of March. Obviously, there's been quite a bit going on in the last little while, so I've fallen behind a little bit. But I mean, if that's what you want to do, then we can, I'll make this a priority and try to get that a lot of that finished for you.
okay, well, everyone was certainly, yes, Bill, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just simply saying that my motion reads to as soon as feasibly possible, which means that I feel that when Joanna feels she's ready, then we will go ahead with it. But I'm not sure whether we can decide tonight on the date or not, but that's up to council, really.
Okay, Councillor Carroll,
Just go, I mean, right now I know that we're in the process of a space needs assessment, and do we have anything that is sort of outstanding that we're waiting on to come back? Or are
we had some people come out and look at the roof today for the roof replacement. But I believe that's the only thing that's happening. I've been trying to sort of assess for myself the situation, going back and reading documents and looking at things like that. But that's where we're at there. And we're waiting for information for grants, and I'm looking into other grants that might be available as well. So I'm waiting to hear back from that.
okay, thank you, Joanna.
Sorry, follow up on just a real
Yes.
quick, grants
Go
on what though? Sorry, on certain studies that we can, or certain things that we can get done.
Yes, either for renovations or replacement, or sort of green funding, anything that might be available that could help us with the renovations or the building, whichever way you guys decide to go.
Okay, great, thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, thank you. I do recall what Councillor Carroll was saying, that there was the study Joanna done on space needed and so forth within the complex, the council chambers and so forth. So if you could maybe take a look through that, but we can leave it for staff to bring back a report and a date to have this meeting, but I do think it's something very important that we need to do. So it was moved by Bill Dobson, the second by Karen Jennings, correct?
Yes.
Do this, all those in favor? Okay, thank you very much. So moving on now, correspondence, and action items and information items. There were quite a few of them that were brought forward. The first one was 8C, the Town of Gravenhurst, Ontario Fire College. Who brought that one forward? Ian, go ahead, Councillor.
I did, and I think this is something that we need to support, and I think that it's something that, the more municipalities that join on. I think the Fire Marshal's office in the province of Ontario, Premier's office need to look at what it is that they're doing. Gravenhurst provides a lot of specialized training for the fire departments. And at the end of the day, all that cost of what it was going on before, people are going to have to travel farther to get the training done, and it's going to be done back on the municipalities. So there's a significant amount of training that goes on when we have a new recruit or anything else like that, or when there's a specialty training for officers or anything else like that needs to occur. So I think that it's Gravenhurst is for the fire department, in my opinion anyway, is an instrumental, or it's a very important part of the whole firefighting thing in the province. And to see it shut down is pretty drastic. So I'd like to support the motion that they keep it open and take a second look at it, and hopefully the rest of the council does so as well.
I'll move it.
Okay. Moved by Bill Dobson, second by Councillor.
Sorry, I'm seconding it.
Sorry, Ian moved it and you're seconding, right?
Yep.
Correct. Okay. No, I think it's an excellent idea, and I concur with Councillor Straight. You can never have enough training for people in this field because things are changing constantly in the fire world, especially with all the chemicals out there now. All those in favor? Thank you. So the next one, 8E, the Township of Perry, Children's Care, Child Care and Post-Pandemic Recovery. Who brought that one forward? Ian again? Okay, Councillor Straight, go ahead.
The resolution comes actually from the town of Carleton, I do believe originally. But
Yes.
again, they're talking about money for what's going to happen after this with the children and childcare and everything else. And I think that it's really important that we support this. There's going to be extra needs for our children. I think that as we come out of this mentally and academically and all those other things. And I think that after this is all said and done, that there's going to be a huge social need that's there. And I think that this kind of helps to address that.
Okay, thank you. I can concur with Councillor Straight. This has been brought up at the county also, because Carleton Place has been putting this forward several times, and the county is certainly supporting this also. Any further questions or comments on that? Okay, so do we put that into a motion, Joanna?
Usually what happens is we take the motion that was originally drafted by the municipality and we
Okay.
we send it off. So whatever the motion was by Carleton Place, we would just tweak it.
Okay.
Do we have a seconder, or I might have missed that?
You, Karen.
Karen, okay.
Okay, all those in favor of that? Thank you. And the next one is Township of Glengarry, South Glengarry. Who brought that one forward? Councillor Straight again. Thank you, Ian. Go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. It's again, we kind of touched base on this a couple of last meeting or a meeting ago in regards to it. And I think that having the ability to put up some speed enforcement goes a long ways to making our communities a little bit safer. It also may reduce policing costs. And I think we get some revenue from some of the tickets and everything else that these things generate. So, I think that they're a great thing, and I definitely support, I'm in favor of them.
Okay, so you would move that forward, Ian?
Yes.
Okay, a seconder for that? Bill Dobson, thank you. Any questions? Yes, Councillor Dobson.
Yeah, just a comment. I certainly concur with you, Councillor Straight. The thing is, when we all went door to door and we listened to everybody talking to us, the one thing that everybody talked about. It didn't matter, as I said before in a meeting, it didn't matter if it was on Holbrook Road or 15 Highway, on a paved road or gravel. Everybody talked about speed. And if there was one complaint that they had in Montague Township, it was speed. So I feel this is a great thing for us to support. And you're right, Ian, like it has to save money in the long run, because it's going to prevent accidents. It's going to slow people down. And I think it's going to be long overdue. So thank you for bringing it forward.
Okay, so we have a motion on that. All those in favor? Okay, thank you very much. And the next one is the Township of Southwest Oxford. Who brought that one forward? Somebody did.
That was Bill. That's the high frequency rail.
N.
It's N.
Yeah.
Okay. And, okay, I'll flip over to the high frequency rail motion.
Okay, thank you. I'd just like to support this and ask for council to approve it all or support it also. When I read it, it clearly says and points out that Via Rail wants to reach out to all of the communities along the way. And so I would like to put forward a resolution to just give staff direction for now, for our staff direction to reach out to Via Rail to find out the particulars about when it may or may not happen, what kind of space they're going to need, and other particulars. So it's just a simple resolution to support staff direction to reach out to Via Rail and then come back with a report.
Okay. Any questions on that or comments? So we would just give staff direction then, Joanna, for this?
We just need a seconder and we can vote on it, I think.
Okay, seconded by Karen. All those in favor? Good. So you have the information, Joanna, for that? Okay. So that brings us to any unfinished business or other business, but we were moving into camera. But before we do that, this concludes our council meeting. Yes, Karen?
Oh.
Can I ask a question about other business or have a discussion?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I went a little too quick.
So just a question with reference to, in the past, I heard where it was the public sent in questions afterwards. When staff receive those questions, is it possible, or could I get council consensus to have something put into our minutes, maybe as a section that says information to council, so that we're aware of what the residents that are watching are questioning, so that we know if it's after when we're doing it this way?
I think we tried to read the questions at the end, but you mean like the following days?
Well, yes, if something gets missed, say, for example, because it doesn't get through for whatever reason, just so that we're aware of some of the questions that might have been asked that weren't said during the video.
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone comfortable with that idea?
Yep.
Okay, no one's disagreeing. You got that, Joanne? Okay. Okay, so do we have any? Yes, Bill, go ahead.
No, I thought you had mentioned a minute ago that after questions, we'd be going in camera, but are we not going to just reconvene?
Yes.
And then we go to committee?
Yeah, we will reconvene and go to committee, but at the end of this meeting though, we're to give opportunity to any questions from our listening audience.
Yeah.
Joanna or Christy?
Sorry, I was drafting that motion Karen just made. Can you repeat that?
Any questions from our listening audience?
Sorry. I don't see any here, no.
Nobody in Radio Land has any questions?
No questions from me.
Okay, all right. We shall then adjourn this part of the meeting for now, and then we'll go into our committee of the whole meeting, and then we'll reconvene the council meeting to be able to go in camera. Okay, yeah. Yes, Councillor Straight.
Did I miss the motion to close the meeting?
That's what we're doing now.
Okay,
Yes, sorry.
all right.
Yes, yes, moved by Karen Jennings, second by Councillor Carroll. That this council recess now at 7:01 PM. All those in favor? Okay, we are now adjourned for the time being, and we'll take a 2-minute break as we usually do.
Can we take 3?
3, yeah, we can. You can take as long as you want. You're just the audience tonight.
Thank you.
Give me a chance to reorganize all my paperwork here.
think it's been 3 minutes, right, Joanne?
It's been 3.
It's been 3. The clock's on.
Do we have everybody back now? Yep. Okay. We're live again, Christy? Yes.
Stayed live.
Okay. So let me put that over there. Okay, welcome everybody back again to our committee of the whole meeting for the Township of Montague, and welcome to anyone listening via internet. So moved by Karen Jennings and second by Jeffrey Carroll that the committee of the whole agenda dated March the 2nd. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention also any disclosure of interest may be declared now or anytime when it comes up. Thank you. At the just a sec while I choke here for a second. Sorry about that. That the committee of the whole meeting agenda, the committee of the whole agenda be dated March the 2nd be approved. Any questions on that? All those in favor? Good, thank you. Okay, moved by Councilor Ian Straight and second by Bill Dobson that the committee of the whole receive the following reports. Clerk Administrator Jay Bowes, Communication Tower of 321 Kelly Jordan Road. Joanna?
Okay. Just gonna get this report open.
Yeah,
So
we
we
have no
had,
delegation for deputation. Sorry,
that's okay.
no deputations.
So we received an application from Xplornet to construct a communications tower at 321 Kelly Jordan Road. So just by way of information, building code and planning act does not apply to those structures. It's federally regulated. So the most that the township can do is provide support or not for this project. The public was notified. Notices were sent out by Xplornet to people within 135 meters as required. The tower is proposed to be light duty 45 meter self-support tower. There's no equipment and the total footprint is 3 meters by 3 meters. We did receive one comment from the member of the public, which is attached in your agenda package, and Xplornet did respond to that concern. So essentially there's two options. We can issue a letter of concurrence or support for the project, which helps to increase the connectivity for residents, or we could refuse to issue a letter of concurrence and ultimately Xplornet would petition Industry Canada and we likely would not get the additional coverage. So staff recommendation is that council supports the application of the communication tower proposed by Xplornet at 321 Kelly Jordan Road in order to increase access to high-speed internet service. I believe we do have a member of the Xplornet team here if we have any questions.
That's me.
Okay, welcome, sir. And I'll open up for council for any questions. Looks like you're getting off easy tonight. Personally, I think this is a very good move. It'll help out a lot for the local residents in that. So we have no questions then. We do have a motion duly made and seconded. All those in favor? Very good. That's carried. Thank you very much for showing up, sir. And good luck.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, next is moved by Councillor Jeff Carroll and seconded by Councillor Karen Jennings that the committee of the whole receive the following report. Public Works Manager S. Rathwell backhoe tender results, and the following to be recommended by council. Steve, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Yes, so the recommendation is that committee of the whole by staff to place the award of the four-wheel drive backhoe tender on the next agenda of council for approval, which would be awarded to the low bid of J.R. Brisson for one Case 580 Super NWT for a total cost, including non-recoverable HST, of $145,66, So a little background, staff was directed to accelerate the purchase prior to the budget approval. Following the procurement policy, it was posted on the website for 20 days, posted in local papers, and as well on Biddingo website as well. There was a total of 4 bids received as seen in the attachments, 2 from Case, 1 from Cat, and 1 from Brandt, which is John Deere. The low bid was the Case 580. Staff was extremely thrilled when we did our demonstration day. They were very happy with how this machine operated, the control, everything. They were very pleased. And again, in the report, there's local municipalities surrounding us in Lanark Highlands, as well as Hammersmith Falls and town of City of Pembroke, which have purchased a very similar machine. After speaking with J.R. Brisson, 50% of the backhoes in the market in the city of Ottawa are actually a Case backhoe. They had a 5-year warranty, a great warranty package, and the expected delivery after the council approval would be estimated for June 2021 or sooner if they're able to get one from another dealership.
That's your report, Steve? Okay, any questions from the council? Yes, Councillor Carroll.
Perfect, Steve. I mean, I think we're going to obviously unanimously get this. So thanks again. Thanks for the update on the after-tax price too as well, just so we have a better side of the budget. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, seeing no questions then it has been moved by Councillor Carroll, second by Karen Jennings, that the committee of the whole advise staff to place the order of the PW 2021-0 for one 4-wheel drive backhoe on the next council agenda for final approval. All those in favor? Okay, good, thank you very much. And next is Carl. You were there, Carl? Thank you, Stephen.
Thanks, Steve.
And we have Carl on board. Okay. So this is moved by Councillor Ian Straight and second by Reid Bill Dobson, that the committee of the whole receive the following report from planner Carl Grinke on Dugas, and the following be recommended to council. Carl, I'll let you go ahead and then I'll read the rest of it later.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, everyone. Just 2 weeks ago, we hosted a public meeting to consider a zoning application to accommodate a new business on Birchall Road, a couple kilometers south of the intersection with Roger Stevens. So the application in this case was to rezone to a rural special exception zone to accommodate a light industrial use to allow the applicant to relocate his business to the site on to build a 3,000 square foot workshop building. The application proposes to only rezone about 0.36 hectares, or a little under an acre of the site at the front corner to accommodate the use. So there were no abutting property owners present and signed in at the meeting. We only had the applicant introduce himself and speak a little bit to transportation. We did receive some agency feedback from the Conservation Authority that doesn't have any concerns with this application given the location on the lot, and also the Public Works Department was commented earlier on the proposal, and they don't object, but they have a few recommendations for how the site can be designed and accommodated, and that would be addressed at a site plan control stage. So as council's aware, any zoning application, any zoning approval, it needs to meet the intent of the township's official plan and higher level provincial policy statement. So I'll start quickly with the OP review. The site is designated as a rural, which and the official plan accommodates a very broad range of rural uses, including industrial uses, but requires that these uses broadly fit in within the overall context of a rural landscape. So the plan does allow for home occupations, limited home occupations and businesses as of right. However, this development's a little larger than that. So that means then that we would need to look at the industrial evaluation criteria that are set out in section 3.6.6 of the official plan. So those are summarized in the report, but those outline the sorts of things that council should consider when we have a new proposal for industrial development. So broadly speaking, in my opinion, this application does comply. There are a number of design and other criteria that really need to be looked at much more closely at the site plan control process. We're not dealing with a major water user in this case. It'll be light manufacturing. We are proposing enhanced industrial zone setbacks to accommodate to best fit the building on the site. And then the application also considered the Ministry of Environment's D6 guidelines, and those prescribe separations between industrial and sensitive residential uses, and that's what the OP needs to look at whenever or that's what we need to look at when we do have a new industrial application. So the application in this case is considered to be the lowest class 1 industrial use, which prescribes a 20-meter recommended separation distance from abutting sensitive uses, which in this case, that's pretty easy to do on a lot this size. And then also a 70-meter influence area, which is also achieved on this property. So I did, transportation's a very important thing. We're on a loose top road here. I think it's fair to say that we wouldn't necessarily want to see a new business in here that generates a lot of traffic. I did following the Public Works feedback. I did follow up with the proponent afterwards to get a little bit more information on his on how he's planning on his transportation expectations, and that's attached later on the report. At the end of the day, it doesn't look like we're dealing with a use that has a significant commercial or heavy vehicle truck traffic pressure. So that's helpful, and the Public Works Department hasn't raised any concerns about the suitability of the road for the use. They are recommending the consideration of signs in the future, and then of course certain improvements to the intersection that would be dealt with at the site plan control stage. The site is the subject properties, it's a large property, and a lot of it is actually designated as containing provincially significant wetlands, as well as potentially significant woodlands. And the application actually, instead of rezoning the entire property, the proponent has actually proposed to rezone only a very small portion of the property, an already open area at the front, close to where the existing building envelope is, and thereby avoiding any of the natural heritage features that are a major part of the overall landscape in this spot. So based on that, the Conservation Authority has determined that this is not a particular concern from them. So I think I will mention, of course, if council does approve the zoning, there's a lot of design work that would be happening through site plan control. And that's really where we're going to get into the landscaping, the driveway design, the driveway width, making sure there's appropriate vehicle turnaround on the site, and also design. So the proponent has told me he's looking at building something that's architecturally and stylistically very similar to the house that he has right now. He's explained he wants to have it wants to fit it in fairly well. So broadly speaking, the application is also evaluated according to the provincial policy statement. So that doesn't that's a fairly high level document that really gives some broad criteria that we look at. It doesn't conflict with anything in our official plan, but the report does highlight that the importance of ensuring that new uses in rural areas are compatible, but also it highlights the economic potential for rural areas and accommodating some appropriate employment uses that are there. So, in my opinion, the site is suited for a limited and properly scaled employment use such as this. So the important thing now is the zoning wording. So this one is a little bit it is a bit unique. So instead of applying for an industrial zone, the applicant has applied for a rural special exception, and that's limited the nature of the uses compared to, say, if you were to apply for a light industrial or general industrial. And I think that's a better option at this location. So if you were in the business park, for instance, then maybe a broader range of industrial uses would make sense given its surroundings. But here we're surrounded by rural lands, scattered residential, so something that's very limited in scope and area makes sense. And I think along those lines as well, the split zone for less than an acre makes sense as well, rather than rezoning the entire property. So the other thing that's unique here is that they've customized their zoning to accommodate a Class 1 industrial use according to the MOE guidelines. So this isn't the first time that we've seen a spot zoning for a specific and defined business. Those requests come in from time to time, and normally what we've often done is rezone a property to allow, say, a custom workshop or a single and individual use like that. In this case, the application, as requested by and proposed by the consultant planner working for Mr. Dugas, was to rezone to Class 1 industrial, and then that gives a little bit more flexibility for the development. So if the business were to sell and the building then used for a different industrial use, the zoning, if it's approved as requested, would still allow it so long as it met that definition of Class 1, that low impact industrial use. So that's it's looking to accommodate more flexibility than is usually accommodated through spot zoning. So I had to spend a little bit of time on that and to determine if that's appropriate here. And in this case, I can accept this approach because really what we're looking at for a use such as, for a proposal such as this as local impact. And the D6 definition focus more on impact than what specifically use is defined in zoning. So a different business that also fits the Class 1 industrial uses, if somebody were to come in looking for something else, then that would be evaluated and we'd probably come to the same outcome, probably determine that the overall local impact would be similar. So I think in this case, this Class 1 industrial use does make sense. So I think the other thing to keep in mind is there is, at the end of the day, the Class 1 zoning does allow a number of industrial uses. So it does become important to establish certainty for the local community in terms of the scale and local impact of the development. So we are recommending some following site-specific provisions to accompany the zoning. So that's to limit the size of the structure to the 3,000 square feet. That's which represents what the applicant is proposing. We're proposing mandating a minimum 7.5 meter front yard. That's about 25 feet, 15 meter interior side yard, about 50 feet, and 12 meter height limits, about 40 feet. And that's all in line with the industrial zoning provisions. So I think it makes sense to have larger setbacks in this case, because it is a more impactful use potentially than something else that's permitted in the residential or in the rural zone. So larger setbacks would keep the development a little further away from the lot lines, and also restrict any outdoor storage from front and interior side yards. So this is in line with what's already being proposed by the applicant here, and these modifications were reviewed with the applicant, and he's comfortable with them. He thinks they're fair in this case. But I think it's also what they also do is serve to really ensure for the local community that the development isn't really going to evolve into something a lot bigger that's going to generate more traffic if business really expands. Obviously, if development does and the applicant wants to expand these provisions, then he can come back with a different application. But this is, in our opinion, is appropriate at this point. So based on all of that, it is the staff recommendation that the application be approved, and that council directs staff to prepare a bylaw for consideration and adoption at the next meeting. So I'll pause there and look for any questions or discussion by council. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions from council in regards to this? Yes, Councillor Carroll.
Just a quick comment. I mean, these are the kind of things that I hope we get to see more of in our township, where people want to kind of work and have their business there. So I think it's great that we're doing this, and I hope that the process goes smoothly for this applicant. I'm sure Carl will make sure that happens, because I think this is a positive thing, and it's a positive thing for this Montague resident too as well. So thank you, Carl. Thank you, Carl, also for watching out for the other residents to make sure that it's a business that can be successful, but also not have a negative impact on the neighbors. So I think that's a great balance. So this is well done, and I look forward to this business growing in Montague. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, thanks very much for the report, Carl. I do also concur with Councillor Carroll. It's an excellent opportunity for us to have another little business, and these small little businesses sometimes become the backbone of the township in time. So. Okay, so we've had a move by Ian Straighten, second by Reeve Dobson. The committee of the whole received the following report, the following being recommended to council. I think Carl has read off the recommendation. Does anyone want to hear it again for clarification? Seeing none. Okay, all those in favor? All right, that is carried. And thank you very much, Carl, again.
Thank you.
Go on to the next one.
Thanks, Carl.
Thanks, Carl.
Okay. Good night, Carl. You can go watch a hockey game now.
Leafs don't play tonight.
Oh,
There's no hockey game tonight.
Now,
I love your
now you made him sad.
comfort out there, Carl, but it was
Now you made him sad. So, okay, next is moved by Councillor Karen Jennings and second by Councillor Jeff Carroll. The committee of the whole received the following report. Clerk Administrator Jay Bowes agreement with the county new backup system. Joanna.
Okay, so the county of, sorry?
Let's hear the good news.
Okay, so the county of Lanark approached us to propose sort of a more up-to-date backup system than what we currently have. So just to note, we're currently rotating tapes on a daily basis. That system is getting fairly outdated and worn out. So when they came to us and said, hey, we can give you an up-to-date, I believe it's a cloud backup system for, considerably less, I thought maybe we should all jump at the chance to sign up for that. So the contract is 36 months, but if for whatever reason, we find we want to get out of it, we can, but we do need to continue paying the remaining installments. So those installments are $248.45 a month. And currently we're actually paying $448. So, pretty much close to double for something that isn't working all that well. So the cloud server backup proposed by the county is in conjunction with Zycom and is a much superior product in every way. So my suggestion is essentially let's go with something that's up to date and saves us money. So that's the good news here. And my recommendation is that council direct staff to bring forward this item for approval at the next council meeting.
Okay, thanks, Joanna. Any
That's it.
questions? Yes, Councillor Carroll.
I mean, I think we've all discussed this a lot already, so the members of the public know that. I mean, this is kind of like a step up for our kind of moving on with our digital infrastructure that is in need for repair. So I mean, it's one of those things where I think the public don't always understand the importance of this, and also the changes that that the staff are working hard and everybody else to try to bring us up to date and to be more secure. So kudos to that, as this is just the beginning too as well, of this too as well. So thank you.
Any other comments, questions? None? Okay, thanks very much, Joanna. Just, Joanna, question and clarification. This is going to cost us 200 and something per month?
Now I have to go back to my report, which I just closed. 248.45 a month, I believe, and right now we're paying 448.
Okay, so
A
first
month.
question, that's for a 3-year contract.
Yes,
And if we break that contract, how much of a notice do we have to give them?
it's a monthly.
Monthly,
month.
okay. But, so if for whatever reason, I don't think we would have a reason, we would stop paying that, or do we still have to keep paying that?
No, we would continue paying that. It's almost like, as explained to me, almost like, you know, when you enter into a contract with your cell phone, you have to pay monthly for your cell phone. And if you are getting out of that contract, you have to continue to pay it or pay off the remainder of your cell phone. But, I mean, realistically, chances are, you know, by the time we ever decided to get out of it, we probably would have already had our savings.
Yeah.
Because we're saving so much a month anyways.
Okay, so the present contract, we can cancel that then?
Yes, yeah, you're just
No,
replacing
no.
that. The county is asking us actually to get out of the contract and
Okay.
hop into this
All
new
right,
one.
and there's no penalty for that?
No,
No, okay. Alrighty, having seen no other further questions, then that the committee of the whole direct staff to bring forward this item for approval at the next available council meeting. All those in favor? Okay, that's carried. Thank you. Okay, moved by Reeve Dobson, second by Ian Straight. The committee of the whole received the following report. Clerk Administrator Jay Bowes, agreement of the RVCA review of hydrological studies. Joanna?
okay, so this is more good news, depending on how you look at it. So in the past couple of months, we've actually had several pre-consultation reports. Well, Carl has had several pre-consultation reports that I've been able to sit in on. And in those cases, we have actually required a hydrogeological study. So I know that does happen sometimes with severances, but these projects are in fact the proposals. We can't go into detail about them at this time, but they're large enough that they do require a hydrogeological study. So that's really good that development is starting to occur in larger scale here in Montague. So just for those of you who aren't aware, a hydrogeological study, you know, I actually had to look this up because I wasn't entirely sure. But it helps determine water quality and quantity, as well as whether or not soils are capable of holding a building, like having a building constructed upon them. So when we ask a proponent to bring in a hydrogeological study, there's no one on staff right now that is qualified to review them. So that would be obviously difficult to, you know, pass an application or provide a development agreement when we don't have anyone that can assess whether it's correct or not. So I did speak with townships and the county, and typically the reviewer for these hydrogeological studies is the Rideau Valley Conservation Authority. So they do provide that service for, I believe, most, if not all, municipalities in Larrick County. So I did reach out to them just to sort of get an example of what type of an agreement or what, you know, whether or not we could have some sort of memorandum of understanding to have them act on on our behalf to review those applications for us, and they're certainly willing to come to the table and talk to us. So my recommendation is that staff, in conjunction with the Rideau Valley Conservation Authority, prepare an agreement that outlines the expectation, costs, and other details in relation to the RVCA performing a peer review on hydrogeological studies for the Township of Montague. I'm bringing this forward now just in preparation for, when these studies do come in, we will have somebody ready to act on them rather than, have them sit around and wait for us to get somebody ready to go.
Okay.
Clear as mud?
And any questions, Councillor Carroll?
Maybe it is clear as mud, because I'm trying to understand this. So somebody goes and pays a consultant to do the study on their land, and it's done by an engineering company, and now it comes back to us. Is that like any other study? Is that not now an engineered stamped goods study? Why does it need to be peer reviewed by by anybody? I mean, and that's what I'm misunderstanding the purpose of that.
No, I think that's a good question, and I will speak from my planning experience. Oftentimes, or all the time, when we receive an application as planners, receive an application from a proponent, they would provide things, for example, like a planning rationale report, and that planner who works for them would outline their reasons why they thought a planning application meets the provincial policy statement and the official plan and the zoning bylaw. And then because things are not black and white in planning, and there's often shades of gray, you can get into a debate, much like in the legal world. And so I would look at it with my professional planning opinion and say, no, I agree with you here and here and here, but I read this section of the official plan differently, whatever. And then you have a back and forth discussion and ultimately come up with an agreement moving forward, or you just sort of force more discussion to get an ultimate goal, or get something completed and done appropriately. And that much is the same case as, we have engineering done for subdivisions, and then an engineer reviews that again, a second set of eyes, a second check on things to make sure it's done. It's happened anywhere I've ever seen development. So this is just another example of that happening.
Yes, Councillor Jennings.
Well, I think Jeff had a follow-up.
Oh, sorry.
A little bit. I mean, and maybe I'm missing something. I'm trying to understand, like especially like something like this, where it's like they do the soil sample, and to me it's a little bit black and white, but I'm not in that business whatsoever. Where it's like this soil can support a building. Like I'm assuming there's a ratio out there saying that this is what it has to be for it to support it, and the other side of it for like even water quality. It's like if the water quality is not there, what's the interpretation at that point? And you would think that if that engineering company decides to sign off saying that it's that the water's good or the ground is good, and they build something on it, and that house falls apart. I mean that engineering company, I would think, would be on the hook side of it. So I'm just trying to understand the extra, and it's one of those red tape extra expense things where it's like, you paid for that, you got that engineering side, you got that done, but now we're going to pay more money in order to get it double checked. And I often curious, like in a case like this, like how often does it come back where it's like, I disagree with you. I understand the planning side, because things can be interpreted differently. But I'm having a hard time a little bit with some of these, and I understand that it's probably done on everything. So like, we just tack it on, we just do it with everything. I just have a hard time with this one. But anyways, I mean, maybe I'm offside, but I just don't see it. But I appreciate.
I think the point is well taken, and I think that in all likelihood you're right. 90% of the cases, it's probably okay. There's a lot of discussion amongst professionals about, if somebody pays me to do a study, the outcome may go a certain way, rightly or wrongly. I'm not saying that happens, but that gets kicked around a lot. So it's good to have a second set of eyes saying, yeah, this is in fact accurate, like a peer review kind of thing. It's certainly something that can be up for discussion. I mean, I don't know how everyone else feels about this. It is standard from anywhere I've been, but it's a fair question. And you're right, engineering is a lot more black and white than planning is. So anyways, I opened up to anyone else.
Yes, Councillor Straight.
I think actually Karen was before me.
Yeah, sorry, Karen.
That's okay.
Yes, Karen, you go ahead.
Just a question in reading through like the county's information. So where applications for severance go to the county, it's not going to end up with duplication though of this study, right? So it'll always be the person that's doing the application. But then if the county has to have it and we have to have it, is that not duplication?
Oh, they'll just use the same study and give it to both of us, but we'd have one person would be peer reviewing it.
Okay.
Councillor Straight.
Yeah, Joanne, are there other companies that besides Rideau Valley that do this, that they could be hired at a lesser rate?
So I have actually spoken with a couple other companies just generally to get some sort of idea of costs. I can bring that back to you if you'd like. The reason I brought the Conservation Authority forward is because just for the simple fact of, like Karen said, that if the county uses them, we don't want to duplicate and get the proponent's view and then the RVCA's view from the county and then ours. Like then you're looking at a lot of different things. So because they've been the holistic sort of whatever everybody's working with, that's why I chose them. But I mean, if we want to go back and look a little deeper into this, that's fine by me too.
I guess my question is the reason for doing this is that we have, we're protecting essentially the township as a whole, right? That's the idea behind this. So yeah. I understand where you're coming from. We hire an independent person to do a report or a study or something like that. It could easily be swayed in favor of possibly what their outcome needs to be. At the end of the day, they probably want to get paid and everything else. So I think that's easily done. I think we see that relatively not at an outrageous level, but at some level sometimes in some of the sites that we see here, even within the township. So I understand what you're saying. Sometimes I have a little bit of an issue with with some of the power type stuff that surrounds the Conservation Authority, I guess, and where that all leads to, and some of the stuff that we've saw, and some of the planning stuff in the past where, I know on one instance for sure where they came in and said, oh yeah, we're all happy with everything. And the person gets a permit. Next thing you know, they're doing, jumping through hoops, trying to build stuff and everything else. So I just want to make sure we're going down the right path, but I understand where you're coming from and that we need to cross our T's and dot our I's from a municipal level. And if we have to do something, then if you think this is the most cost-effective manner, then I guess that's what we need to do.
Okay, thanks for all your comments. And Joanna, I think you pretty well got a direction where we want to head with this. And it's something I think we're going to have to do. So no further comments. The following being recommended to council, the staff in conjunction with Rideau Valley Conservation Authority, prepare an agreement that outlines the expectations, costs, and other details in relation to RVCA performing a peer review on hydrological studies for the township of Montague. All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Okay, the next is moved by Councillor Carroll, second by Councillor Jennings, that the committee of the whole receive the following verbal report. Clerk Administrator Jay Bowes, recreational study.
Okay, I might turn this over, but I just wanted to let everybody know the recreation study has been posted online. And as of, I believe, 2 days ago, we had uptake of 50 people having done the survey. I'm not sure if it's gone up since then, but that's a pretty good number. So I just wanted to let everybody know out there watching, sign up and do that survey so we can get that information from you. I don't know if anyone else on the Recreation Committee has anything else to add at this point.
Yes. Councillor Carroll, sorry.
Yeah, super quick. I mean, Joanna's got it pretty well. I mean, I'm hoping we can get as many people obviously as to give their input so we can obviously start to see what we can do for people in the township going forward. I think we're almost up to about 100 people so far. So I mean, once again, reaching out to your contacts, you know, retweeting, redoing the Facebooking stuff. I'm going to get in contact with some of the school there too as well, to try to work something out. So they get it out to those members too as well. So like as much as we can to get it out, just because once again, this could be a big impact or a big point for letting people letting us know, you know, how we can make the community even better. So.
Okay, any other further comments? Yeah, I would personally myself encourage people who are listening and encourage people and all of us to encourage our residents to fill these studies in. It gives us a sense of direction as to where we want to go as a township in recreation. So yes, Karen.
It's just an online study, correct? There's no paper document been sent out?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, just for clarity, because I had that question today. It is online. The reason it's not on paper is because when you followed along in a paper version, it gets a little bit confusing. Online, it can just jump from one question to another. So if you answer yes here, it jumps you to the next appropriate sort of question. Whereas you're following on paper, you don't necessarily always know exactly where you're going. But we are offering, if people you know, are having issues doing it online, that they can come into the office and we can help them through that online so that they can complete it and get it done.
Yes, Councillor Jennings.
Well, it could have been done as a paper version where it says, and if you answer yes to this one, then you skip to whatever the next section is or whatever, like they do in other surveys that are paper. Even if it is online, it also says that. So it's just a comment, since not all the older, but not even just older residents do have computer access. That was all.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Bill Dobson, you had your hand up. You're muted, Bill.
Thank you, Cos. I just wondered, what's the deadline for this survey to be filled in?
I'm going to ask Jeff. I think he's on the ball.
So the tentative date right now, sorry, through you, Chair. The tentative date is 3 weeks from now. It can be extended just to see where we're at as far as that goes, but 3 weeks will be the sort of the tentative date. And real quick on for Karen's office, it's a great point. That's why also Mary, who's obviously one of the consultants, is doing it. She has her phone number and everything available, along with Christy at the office. So I think that's what Joanna was saying too as well. So if there's a resident that can't do it, and Christy is kind of the contact at the office that someone could call in. She can, once again, like walk someone do it or do it on the computer and say, okay, well, what do you want me to respond for you? So I mean, there's opportunities that definitely, if anybody doesn't have a computer or doesn't feel they can do that, both the consultant and Christy are available for that support. So.
Okay, thank you. Bill Dobson?
Yeah, I just wondered to try to get the word out. That's why I asked when the deadline was. The local newspaper, they're always asking us to give them tidbits, I guess I'll say tidbits of information so that they can get it back out to the public. I just wasn't sure whether I don't mean taking out a paid advertisement, but sometimes they'll put in little notices which will go back out to the readers it would just draw the reader's attention to our website so that people can look at it and maybe even further fill it out. It's just a comment. I wondered if there was any interest in that.
That'd be great. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Feeling is positive for that. Okay, Joanna, we'll leave that with you.
Yeah, we can do a media release for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So this has been moved, and that the committee of the whole received the following verbal report from Clerk Administrator Jay Bowes, Recreation Study, and the following being recommended to Council that this verbal report be received as information. All those in favor? Thank you. Okay. So moved by Karen Jennings, and I need a seconder for this one here. It's in regards to notice of motions. Noted. Councillor Carroll, thank you. The notice of motions as noted below be presented for discussion at the following committee of the whole meeting. That the council directs staff to bring forward a list of motions and bring forward items from 2020 and 2021 that are yet to be resolved. So discussion on this?
Oh.
Yes, Karen?
So I brought this motion forward because I remember in the past we had said about outstanding items because we don't see them to remember them. And I actually happened to be reading another municipality's minutes. And it came up saying pending list and then the date of their meeting. And what it does is it lists, say, for example, a title, the department, comments and status, and a report to council for date. So for example, it says this specific municipality, what theirs read was master fire plan review. The department associated with it was fire. Then the comment was strike a committee to review the master fire plan and assess standards. And when was it going to be done? It was going to be done in the first quarter of 2021. Another example was, for example, retrieval of procedural bylaw, or review of procedural bylaw. That would be the clerk's department, and it was postponed as a result of COVID. It is now being brought back, say, for example, March 2021. Review of committee structure. It was the clerk's department, standing and advisories, interview process, staff and council, quarter 2, 2021. So those are the sorts of things is that what I'm looking at is all the items that we as a council say to staff, bring forward or whatever, if that could be attached to the bottom of our minutes, then we also have that recollection of here are things that are outstanding that we need to remember as well as staff, instead of it just being on a list somewhere. That way it's actually there and it's fresh for everybody's memory. So I was just looking to say, could we copy off of another municipality to have something like this done so that it's there? Because I would appreciate it, that's for sure.
Okay, makes sense to me. Anyone have any comments on that?
No,
Yes, Councillor Carroll, or Ian Straight, sorry.
yeah, no, I agree with Councillor Jennings and yourself, Deputy Reeve. I think it's a great thing to have, that we have a list of what's ongoing and measurable so that we make sure that we stay on track.
Yeah, keeps us very much on track. Any other comments? None? Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Thank you. Okay, we're doing great. I didn't threaten about turning into a pumpkin tonight, so. Moved by Councillor, Reeve Bill Dobson, and seconded by Councillor Ian Straight, that the committee of the whole meeting now do adjourn at 7:54. Yes.
That's questions from the audience?
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yes.
I
Questions
was
from
just
the
about
audience?
to say that. We don't have any.
They don't have it. Okay. Thank you, Karen.
You jumped the gun, Karen.
Yeah. All those in favor, we adjourn. We'll take a 2-minute break and then we'll reconvene. Thank you.
I'm muted. We're in between meetings. We're just going in. I just did.
Do we have everyone back pretty well? Just missing Ian. Jeff, you want to run out and tell them to come back in?
Yeah, let's get the party started. Go.
Okay, we have Ian back now. Thank you very much. Okay, moved by Councillor Ian Straight, second by Reeve Bill Dobson, that the council reconvene at 7:58 PM. All those in favor? Thank you. Okay, moved by Councillor Jeff Carroll and seconded by Councillor Karen Jennings, that the council moved into closed session as per S 239 of the Municipal Act and SO 2001 C 25 in order to address 5 items. Personal matters above an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. Personal matters about identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. A position, plan, procedure, criteria, and instructions to be applied to any negotiations carried out on or be carried out by on behalf of the municipality or the local board. The proposed or pending acquisition or disposed of lands by the municipality or the local board. Litigation and potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunal affecting the municipal and local boards. More specifically, personal matters about identifiable individual, intermunicipal agreements and proposal disposing of land and potential litigation. It's been moved by Councillor Jeff Carroll and seconded by Karen Jennings. All those in favor? Very good. We are now in camera, so